Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for our PAC meeting for September. Can't believe it's September already, but anyway, thank you everyone for joining us today. And my name is Maria, and I am this year's president. So the agenda for today is we'll have an executive board update, and then we'll have reports from the academic committees, which you see up here. And
if you have anything to ask, you should come.
And then we will have contributions from Imsa staff, faculty, and some of the student groups. So thank you to those speakers who are our contributors that are joining us today. And then after our meeting, we will have our guest speakers from Lexington Food Service. So they'll be sharing some information and you'll have the opportunity to also ask them questions. So just a reminder, please everyone mute if you are unmuted for right now as the speakers are sharing their updates, and then feel free to unmute when it's time for you to ask questions. Okay, so just a few things. About the PAC, reminder that the PAC is a nonprofit organization. We're covered by our own PAC bylaws and policies. When we work in partnership with Imsa, and all registered parents and guardians of Imsa students are automatically enrolled as members of PAC, and there's no membership fee, so that's always a great plus. And we have volunteers from all across the state of Illinois that serve the PAC. So we have 6 exec board members, 22 committee chairs, and 10 regional reps as of right now. So and that number is constantly growing, so we invite you to join us as well. So next we'll have our executive committee member updates. And as for me, I just wanted to say thank you to all of our committee chairs and executive board and volunteers, as well as faculty and staff over at Imsa, and of course students for making this a good start of the school year. There's been a lot going on, both behind the scenes and as you see from some of the updates that you'll be getting from our committees and exec board, there's a lot that will still be going on this coming school year. So we hope that you will take part in the different things that we have coming up. I wanted to also share the updates for our executive board members. So again, I'm the president this year. Our vice president is Kyle Blay. Our secretary is Jen Mock. She is new to the board this year. She is a parent of a sophomore. You'll find out more about her upcoming. And our treasurer is Alex Williams. And we also have a new sophomore representative, and that is Swain. You will also hear from him as well. And then also our at-large member is Kat Kazukas. So just a few things about the executive board. We are the governing board of the PAC, and so we do a lot of things as far as planning and execution for some of the different things that are going on, as well as being the voting block for the decision making for the PAC. Next, we have our vice president, Kyle.
Good morning, everyone. I just have a couple of kind of more reminders if we go on to the next slide. First, you're going to be hearing from all of our different committees today. I hope everyone has had a chance to look at our committees and think about where they want to get involved or how they want to get involved. There are ways you can get involved from anywhere in the state. So please think about that. And if you haven't done that, we have a form there where you can express interest. If you've done that already and you haven't heard from a committee that you're interested in, then please reach out to me and I can try to help put you in touch with whoever you need to be in touch with. And then if we go on to the next slide. The other thing that we've had some people ask about is how you can support PAC if you're not able to get involved, but you want to support, like, say, Friday Fest or something else financially. Basically, the Imsa Fund is the nonprofit that supports all things Imsa, so including PAC. So they give us money every year, but if you want to specifically give money to PAC, you can give it through the Imsa Fund. Also, if you want to do support other things at Imsa and their mission. I know some people have asked about the tennis courts. I know they've done a thing in the past to raise money, for tennis courts and do other kind of upgrades to the facilities. So again, the link is here for that if you're interested in making donations. The one thing to remember is if you want your money to go to something specific, you do have to specify that when you make your donation. And that's all I have. So have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Kyle. And next we have Jen Locke, our news secretary. Welcome, Jen.
Hi, thanks for welcoming me to the PAC. I appreciate it. I just wanted to mention that Kyle introduced me to these nifty little QR codes that are going to be in the presentation, and so easy to use. So if you have your phone handy, just have your camera available and hover over that QR code and it will launch the website that we are discussing in the slide. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And next we have our sophomore parent representative, Piyush Swain.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Piyush. I'm based out of Aurora. Very excited to see all of you. We have got some exciting things going on from PAC perspective as well as from our children's perspective. So I definitely look forward to see all of our sophomore parents later next week. I've sent the mail and we'll be sending some reminders, and look forward to hearing from you, active participation from you, and see how we can make the residential life of our kids better. Thank you very much. Back to you, Maria.
Thank you, Piyush. And you should have received an email from him with that information for the meeting, which the first one will be this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m.
That's right.
Thank you. And next we have treasurer's updates, which I'm not sure if Alex is on with us, but let me go ahead and share some of the updates that we have in terms of finances. Okay, is everybody able to see the screen? Okay, so in the main PAC account, hopefully the view is large enough here. Let me see if I can zoom it a little bit more. Okay, so we did receive the first half of the funding from the Imsa grant. So just in case some of you are not aware, that we do receive funding from the Imsa fund, and they have pretty much promised us the $13,000 for the year. So $6,500 has been deposited so far. We've had some expenses in relation to some government reporting. Also, this $8,000 was for the campus cruisers, the carts that were used during move-in. So it's a gift from the PAC to Imsa. And then as far as wing parent programs go, we don't have any expenses paid out yet for that. We did have some expenses related to prior year for Friday Fest. And I imagine that we will have more of those coming up since Friday Fest was just yesterday. So we'll cover that in a little bit as well. And then some reimbursements for some regional representative expenses. And then technology had some expenses as far as getting ready for when we're able to be back in person for some meetings with a webcam expenses. And again, we had some prior year expenses and related to prior projects. In regards to the bus, we have had quite a bit of response in relation to those interested in taking advantage of the bus service this coming year. So as you can see, these are the contributions so far from that. And just a reminder that both the transportation and senior banquet budgets are self-funding. So even though we did start off with a budget of $26,100, that was an estimate. So again, the budgets are usually self-funding and will be adjusted accordingly based on how many riders are for this year. So you'll hear more from the Transportation Committee, but I believe you have until today to sign up for that service. And then in relation to that, we also have PayPal fees that are incurred from those payments. And as far as the senior banquet budget goes, there have not been any expenditures or any ticket sales yet. So that is why you have just very minimal. This is due to our account, that's an account fee. And then we did have some prior year expenses since senior banquet was in May of last year that carried over into this year. So that is the state of finances for the PAC as of today. Next, we have Kat Kazukis, our member at large, and I'm not sure if she was able to join us today. So Kat, are you on the call?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Kat? Okay. I know she had mentioned she might be having some connection issues. So Kat, if you are able to get back on, let us know, and then we'll definitely circle back to you. So Kat is our member at large, and she will be in charge of various projects. And one of the things that she was doing last year, she was a sophomore parent representative last year, and she had done a great job of meeting with parents of sophomores last year, which of course are now the parents of juniors. And that's one of the initiatives that she would like to continue, is continuing that conversation amongst parents of juniors. So she'll be sharing more information on that in upcoming weeks. Okay, next we'll have our committee updates. So first is our academic committee.
Hi, good morning. My name is Moju. I am one of the co-chairs of the academic committee with my co-leader, Gabriela Lima. And we put up here our contact information as well. So the primary purpose of the academic committee is to facilitate communication and involvement between the administration, faculty, and parents on the academic matters. So we never want to stop parents to reach out to administration directly, but if there's a larger issue that number of students are having a concern, those are the issues that we try to sum up and bring up to the administration. So one of the things we're doing this year is that we're trying to put a survey together to send out to the parents in some topics and ask if there's anything that they want us to focus on or pay attention to. So look out for that that survey to come out shortly, soon, in the next couple of weeks. So for the purpose of today's meeting, we collected some information that would be useful to have for the parents. I'm sure that the students know most of these. So going on to the next slide, these are a list of academic and college admission webinars that the CAC office will present these, and all of this listing is on the CAC website. So here's a listing for that. They're very useful, a lot of information. So I highly recommend attending them. Going on next would be information about the upcoming test for the juniors and sophomores. Well, juniors are having a Psat test October 13. Sophomore Psat test is until February, but it's good to have it on your calendars and know. So they're the junior parents and the sophomore parents will be getting email about this, I'm sure, for the October one. If they haven't already, they will soon. The next slide, we talk about information about SAT testing and the test that test states that IMSA is or is not the test center. This information is also on the CAC website. Word of advice would be don't depend on this slide and make sure that you check College Board constantly because they make changes as time goes. So your best source of truth is College Board website because sometimes they cancel tests a few weeks in advance. So, or, a few days in advance. It's happened to us. So I just recommend that you keep checking College Board for that. And the next slide would also have the same kind of information for ACT information, ACT test coming up. Obviously, we put this slide. This is on the website on the CAC, so we've already passed the September date, but you will have the rest of the dates available. Then next, this is just a link for the clubs and co-curricular information. If you'd like to go look and see what clubs and their activities, this is a good link to have to kind of, look around. I know that students probably definitely have this link. It would be nice for the parents to have it as well. The next slide would talk about academic support. I just wanted to mention that there's a lot of support for students, especially for the sophomores. There's no reason for them to struggle with any of the program. The rigor of the coursework might be challenging for some, but there's a lot of help for them. So there's peer tutors. Peer tutors are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 4 to 6, and then from 8 to 10. And that they stop at 6 because of the study hours and the dinner and all of that. But they have support until almost 10 o'clock every night, every day. And also on Sunday, I think it's based on making appointments from 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. There is support for them. And there's all of this, the students know, there's a big spreadsheet. The peer tutors are listed, the hours that they're working, it's all on Canvas. And I'll show you where you can find all of that. So the options that they have for these tutoring is a one-on-one with the peer tutors and or there are review sessions that they can participate. And again, this information you can get from Canvas, and I have a kind of snapshot of it going on the other slides. But it's a good information to know that making sure the students advocate for themselves and reach out and get help for their academics. So next slide, we'll talk about also about the writing center. So there is a writing center that they could get help with. The students will help them with reviewing their assignments. And what writing center does is actually assign those tutors that are participating for the writing center particularly to attend the classes that they're helping with. So they sit in the classes right along the sophomores to know what the assignments is about so that when the students approach them, they already have that background. I think it's an excellent idea. They started doing this a couple years ago. It's been very successful. My daughter was in one of them, and it also gives the sophomores a direct contact with upperclassmen, not only from the writing information, but they could help them with other questions they have as well. But it's a very nice program that highly recommend students reaching out and using that. Another avenue for parents and students to get all this information is academic support page. There's a academic support page on Canvas that you can click and get all of this information consolidated. So if you go on to the next page or next slide, I'll show you there's this academic support button. When you go to when you log into Canvas, go onto your dashboard, that kind of orangish looking button is academic support hub. If you click on that, and then the bottom slide will show with the bottom picture will show with all of these little bubbles of different areas that you could dig in and look at all of the information that's available for the students. Parents, this is my view from as a parent. So as a parent, I could see all of this as well. So if you go to the next slide, it has, I drill down to the Meet Your Academic Support Team. And so it's all of this information and email address. The names and the emails are listed in case you need to reach out to any of them, or if the students need to reach out to any of them for support. So, and then if you go on to the next one, there's also IRC that the library at the Imsa is called Informational Resource Center. The students refer to it as IRC. IRC is also a great source of information and support for the students. There is a there's a person there that is they could do live chat. They could set up. They help them with their research. There's a great wealth of information for the students to use. So all of this information is there. If you get a copy of these slides, then you can have all of that at your fingertip. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Moju. Does anybody have any questions for the academic committee? Okay, so if you do have any questions for the academic committee, feel free to either put it on the chat or go ahead and let us know, and you are more than welcome to ask during the meeting as well. So again, thank you very much for those resources.
Sure.
And next we have hospitality co-chair, which is Nisha. Nisha, are you on the call?
Yeah, hi. I'm on the call. How are you? I'm really excited to be a part of this committee. I'm looking forward to serving on this committee. So really excited.
Thank you so much for joining us with that. And the next slide talks a little bit more about the hospitality committee. So if any of you are interested in helping out Nisha, feel free to scan the QR code. It has more information. Thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Nisha?
No, I don't have to add anything, but I would look forward to people joining in on this committee and, you know, helping out with hospitality for the meetings, as well as, you know, when we have Teacher Appreciation Week, we can come up with good ideas on how to appreciate the teachers and, you know, provide something for them. Because in this new COVID world, we definitely need to ensure that, you know, everybody is protected, and we need to actually look out for each other as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Friday Fest.
Hi, I'm Melissa Slynn. I am going to speak today on behalf of my co-chairs, Dominic and Carrie. If we could move to the next slide. So our first Friday Fest was held yesterday. Friday Fest is typically a giant potluck, and due to COVID restrictions, we scaled it back to desserts only, and it was to be held outside the individual halls. However, Mother Nature had a different plan, and it was decided by the school that everything needed to be moved inside, and that caused us to have to send home our second shift volunteers. So for that, I truly want to apologize for anybody who was driving or you know, came out to looking forward to volunteer and to helping everybody out, and they weren't able to. But it was out of our hands once everything was moved inside, since parents are not allowed in the residence halls. An email we did attempt to send an email out through the Sign Up Genius, but because we were doing it from our phones, we don't think that email actually made it. So again, I'm so sorry that miscommunication happened. But that said, everybody should be so proud of their student volunteers. The student volunteers, they brought everything inside and they set it up and they just ran with it. And all of the comments that I've seen, I know from my daughter's hall that everything went very well. Everybody seemed to enjoy all of the treats. And there was a lot of donations. So a huge thank you to everybody who baked or picked up a store-bought treat. We had just a lot of donations. Every student was able to choose up to 3 items. And then there was going to be leftovers for later on in the individual halls. Let's see. So our next Friday Fest is scheduled for November. Of course, we have to see what is going on with COVID mitigations at that time. But if you were interested in helping out for the next Friday Fest, feel free to shoot us an email at fridayfest002@gmail.com, and we can invite you, we can send you the Zoom link for our next planning meeting, which will be held October 19th at 7 p.m. Can we go to the next slide? Oh, I thought there was one more. The last slide just was a giant thank you to everyone who volunteered and donated treats, and just a huge thank you to everybody who was involved. That's it.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you very much to the committee for planning such a wonderful event. And like they mentioned, the parents and the students who, well, the parents for bringing the donations and for the students for eating them all. So thank you very much. Next, we have our Multicultural Committee, which unfortunately are not able to join us for the meeting today. However, we are pleased to introduce them to you. They are Aaron and Alicia Wilstrom. Their student at Imsa is Malcolm. He's a sophomore. They're from Flossmoor. And this is their email, Imsa PAC Multiculti. And they will be, again, chairing the committee. And what the committee will be focusing on is, as you can see on the slide, is wanting to learn more about existing multicultural and diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts on campus. They'll be doing a fall listening tour to engage students, faculty, and staff in conversations, and to learn more about how the committee and as parents generally can lend support to those already doing the work. They are going to be having a meeting on Tuesday, September 28th. So this upcoming Tuesday at 7 to 8 p.m. Via Zoom. There's the Zoom link there, and it's also on the PAC calendar. And if you have any questions, feel free to email them. Again, imsapacmulticulti@gmail.com. Next, we have the Student Life Committee.
Hi, this is Susan. Ellen and I are very excited to be hosting the Student Life Committee this year. If you go to the next slide for me. We have 78 wing parents signed up to help with the 2021-2022 school year. So that's wonderful. We do have coverage in every hall and every wing. 1505B and 1505C could use some parent volunteers still. The volunteers we have for those halls and wings actually they have students in other areas. So if anyone's interested and you have a student in 1505 hall, wing B or C, you can let us know, and I've got the information on a couple slides down. I'll also post it in the chat when I'm done with my section. So restrictions, parents are only able to drop off items at the hall door for the time being. RCUs have been wonderful working with parents to drop off items and coordinate pickup times and stocking of freezers and refrigerators for the items. If you live a little further away, you could always have items delivered. There's a number of local stores that have been really good at helping us out too. All items do still have to be individually packaged or wrapped. Our wing parents have definitely summoned their creativity and they've come up with some awesome ideas. You can go to the next slide for me. We've got some examples, gift bags, potato chips, ice cream, sandwiches, popsicles, anything that's perfect, individually wrapped. And I know the kids are really enjoying it. I've had some great feedback. The next slide has our contact information. So if you'd like to join the Student Life Committee, you can scan the wonderful code. You can contact Ellen and I at pacsdolife@gmail.com. If you're interested in being a wing parent, we have plenty of the year left to come. You can join the wing parent group, join our Facebook group if you'd like. We've been sharing ideas, pictures, trying to help each other out. If you're still having a hard time understanding your child when they talk Imsa lingo, you can follow the link below, and it gives you a great opportunity to understand what they're talking about without having to ask them all the time like I do.
Thank you for those updates.
Thank you.
And next, I'd like to introduce our senior banquet co-chair. And this is Nisha. So Nisha, I don't know if you'd like to say a few words again. She is also co-chairing the hospitality committee as well.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much. I'm going to be the senior banquet co-chair, and my son is an 8th grader. My daughter is a sophomore at Imsa in 1506. So one of the things is that, since the hospitality committee may not have so much of work at this time, so I volunteered to also be a senior banquet co-chair. So we would definitely need help here for planning and, for the graduation of the IMSA students, and also helping out with different things. The graduating class will also have a lot of things. So these are run by parents of sophomores and juniors. So I would definitely like people to join in this committee and help us out. So if you have any questions or any kind of concerns or anything, please definitely contact me. So yeah, go ahead, please join hospitality as well as banquet committee. We can definitely come up with a lot of ideas and, make sure that both of the committees are successful and we work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha. So yeah, so the first senior banquet committee meeting will be next Sunday, the 3rd, from 7 to 8. And if you scan this QR code, you got more information on that, and it'll be via Zoom. So hopefully you're all able to attend. Okay, next we have the transportation committee.
Well, good morning, everybody. Abhijit Thatkar here. We have Jill Sigliana as my co-chair. She's volunteering for another event, so she may not be, or she may be on the call, but may not be able to talk much. We also have Kate, and she's driving actually to IMSA, so she will be also not be able to speak, I'm assuming. And then I'm going to be covering for us. So Kate is actually a new member for us. So she just joined us like 15 days, 20 days ago. And she has had definitely a big impact on us, because then that helped us, rally around creating a third route. So if you go to the next slide, Maria. This is where, if I may just kind of go back to the purpose of the transportation committee, we help arrange the transportation for the 6 weekends. And we work with the bus company, work with the volunteers, we work with the student life to make sure that the students are safe and being transported on those weekends when the students cannot live on campus. So currently, by just looking at the pre-registration survey that we had sent out and looking for the interest, we have come up with 3 different routes. First one going to Peoria, the second one goes through Bloomington, Springfield, and ends up in the Fairview Heights area. And then this year, the new route is actually going through Champaign down to Carbondale. And we have the number of students there. You can see the different costs, and this includes all the 6 weekends. We roughly calculated that it's about 20 to 26 cents per mile per student that parents end up paying, which is much cheaper than just driving yourself. And also, if you consider the amount of time that you spend on the road, it is a worthwhile effort. By the way, we do have a survey that's open right now. And that survey actually is going to close at noon today. So if you are interested in this service, please go ahead and sign up. We have had plenty of responses already, but we are still looking for anybody who wants to join us at the last moment. So take your time, and if you have any questions or so, please let us know at that imsapackbus@gmail.com. And just a reminder for the parents who have already submitted their responses, the first trip is on October 7th. That's a homebound trip, and the IMSA-bound trip is on October 11th. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you very much, Abhijit. And believe they posted the form in the chat. So if you're interested, feel free to sign up there. Next, we have our technology committee.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jim Ramos. And what we have going on is we are transferring or going to be going to the Google Workspace. And that's quite an effort. And we are responsible for updates to the Parent Association web portal, maintain the parent directory for PAC, help with any technology related issues for the PAC. And we also moderate the Facebook group. I've made my fellow co-chairs, moderators or administrators as well, Charlie and Jose. And we will, like it said on the budget, I've purchased a high def camera for when we are in person. Anything to add, Charlie or Jose?
I think you covered it, Jim.
Yeah, you covered it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to the technology committee. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that they help us with in regards to technology. So we completely appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And here's the QR code for those who are interested in joining the PAC official parents Facebook group. It gives you an opportunity to ask questions or have conversations with other parents in that group in between our meetings. Okay, next are the regional reps and Missy.
Hi, I'm Missy Graff. Just to clarify, we have 10 regions, but we have 23 regional reps right now. So some regions have 2 or 3 reps in the region. As you can see from the list here, we could use a little help. Maybe Susan would love some help and Ellen would love some help. Susan's out kind of west, like Rockfordish area. Ellen is Chicago. So if you live in Chicago and you'd like to help those committees, those need some help. And then as you can see in red, we do not have a representative for Region 6. Right now, I am stepping in for Region 6. They are like around Barrington and north and then east. So northeast of the state goes, over to like Zion and Waukegan and that whole area. So if you live in that area and you'd love to help us out, that would be great. The biggest thing that the regional reps do is the back to school picnic, which we successfully held 10 back to school picnics this year after not being able to do it last year. And so that was a big feat. And I just thank everybody for their efforts. We had great turnouts. Everybody had a lot of fun and got connected. And it was really nice for not only sophomore families, but junior families to, really be able to meet some other families, which has been hard to do when we were remote. But this year we would like to take it a little bit further. And instead of just having the regional picnic and then we're done, is to have these regional reps be a point of contact for the families that live in their area. Whether it's just, I have a question, even though you could go to the Facebook, group and everything, just be a liaison and to potentially have some meetups for parents while their students are away, whether that's via Zoom or whether you meet at a restaurant or a park or get to know families. Even though we have that great bus service, you know, if you live in Waukegan or Zion, it's a long drive, and it would be great to be able to carpool because the bus doesn't go everywhere. I'm in Algonquin and we live 45 minutes away, and I would love to not be driving back and forth to Imsa all the time. So, you know, it just is an opportunity to just meet other families that are close to you. Hopefully our kids will get to know each other as well, but we, you know, you guys all probably feel that we need that parental support as well and need some people that we can just go to with questions. So that's what we're here for. We will be meeting shortly, probably within the next couple of weeks, to kind of see what's next. So this is a great time to join. So if you would be interested, you know, no matter what region you're in, if you want to help out, host an event or just help out and being a liaison, you can email me there at imsapacregionalreps@gmail.com. Sorry, I'm just putting that in the chat bar now. But yeah, it's a great committee, and so it doesn't take a lot of time. But if you would like to be involved and meet other families in your area, join us.
Thanks, Missy. Next, we'll have updates from our administration, IMSA administration, student council, and campus activities board. So first we have Katie Berger.
Good morning, everyone. For those of you that I don't know, my name is Katie Berger. This is my 7th academic year at IMSA, and I've served in a few different roles. Currently serve as the Chief Student Affairs Officer, and want to thank you, as always, for including me in your meeting. And I love the QR codes. I'm going to have to figure that out for future months. I'm going to drop things in the chat like I normally do because I didn't figure out the QR codes this time. A Student Affairs newsletter was released yesterday, so definitely check that out. And I know Brittany is joining us today as she is on the road, multitasking as always. And so her and some of our students will have some wonderful updates about homecoming, which is this coming week. I do want to highlight a few of our new student affairs team members. We've been really transparent about the labor shortage and the challenge that that has caused for us at IMSA. Dr. Aquaj Anderson, Dr. Glaser, and I participated in a call with some of our NCSSS sister schools. So the IMSA of North Carolina and South Carolina and Mississippi and Louisiana and Alabama and Arkansas. And what we heard consistently from them is they are struggling as well to hire and retain staff, in particular in residence life and food service. So I'm very pleased to share with you all that we did have 3 new RCs start this week. Nia Flowers, who is in 01, Kyla Harden, who is in 1506, and Sam Nahemi, who is in 1507. We also have a new residence life supervisor, Lucas Moneypenny, who will be starting with us on October 4th and is coming to us with a good amount of residence life experience. So we know that he'll be a great addition to our supervisory team. We do want to continue to ask for your support as parents and reinforcing messages to your students to help us keep campus safe, reminding students to wear their masks. We are asking that masks are worn at all athletic competitions by spectators. So we know that we have limited opportunities for spectators at athletic competitions right now. It's limited to our outdoor events. We are still asking that if you are a spectator at an athletic event that you do wear your mask. We are asking our students to wear their masks inside and outside when physically distancing isn't possible or isn't happening. Students should really only be in their assigned wing and their assigned room. And we are asking for a max of 4 people per table in the Lexington dining room. And quite honestly, that's been the trickiest one. Our students have always told me that the IMSA tables in the cafeteria fit N+1 because there's always room for 1 more, except for this year. There can't always be room for 1 more this year. We just got to keep it to 4 because we know at that point people are removing their masks, and so really want to ask for that support from parents and asking our students to please keep the chairs where they are and stay 4 to a table. You'll hear more from our food service partner, Lexington, at 11 a.m. We are also trying to work with our students to help prevent food waste. We're seeing a lot of food going into the trash can. We would like to ask that students not take food out of the cafeteria. We're having some students wanting to take, 4 or 5 sandwiches to go, a bag of cookies to go, and we want to ensure that there is enough food for all, and it is all you can eat while you're in the cafeteria, but we don't want to be grocery shopping in the cafeteria and taking bags of things with us. So if you can help remind your students of that, we would appreciate it. And then at breakfast time, students have an option between a hot breakfast or grab and go. It is not both. It is one or the other. And so again, just making sure that as you're talking to your students about their dining experience, that you can help us reinforce some of those things. And as I mentioned, I'm sure Lexington will speak more on that. I've had some questions about when visitors need to check in with security. So I did want to provide just a couple of quick reminders. If you were entering any building, which I know isn't really happening too much right now, but if you're entering a building or if you're visiting on campus for an extended period of time, we would ask that you check in with security. If you are dropping something off quickly or attending an athletic competition, you do not need to check in. When in doubt, just check in with security. Our security team has a challenging role to look after our very large and windy main building, our 7 residence halls, and our 90+ acre campus. And so anything that we can do to just kind of keep track of who's on campus and know that people are in the right place at the right time is always helpful. We do have a monitoring committee that continues to evaluate and reevaluate and communicate and recommunicate about all things related to our safety protocols. And that committee is meeting on Tuesdays. I want to thank Kyle Blaze, your PAC VP, for stepping in to represent the parents. And we have formed a student subcommittee as well. So that way the student voice is really represented in what's going on campus and we can hear their priorities. And so some of you may have seen the emails about the opportunity to opt into that experience and the announcement of who was selected. Extended weekend is coming. Next week is October already, and October 7th is when extended weekend begins. So mark your calendars. The halls will close at 5 p.m. on the 7th. We did convene a meeting last week to discuss the process of extended move out, to look at some of our past practices pre-COVID, look at what worked and didn't work during Labor Day weekend since so many people went home. So a special thanks to Melissa Slynn and Gabriela Lima for participating. Additionally, we had RC Kevin Lim, residence life supervisors, security, nursing staff in attendance so that we could really look at all elements of that process. And we will be sending out information next week via email. Probably I'm aiming for Wednesday or Thursday. So keep a lookout for that. We really just need to have a full meeting with Res Life and security and make sure that everything that we think sounds really good sounds good to everybody else. And then we'll get that out. If you need medication sent home for extended, please let the health office know. And you can always send the email to nurse@imsa.edu and it goes to all of our nurses. And there will of course be more information about that in the email as well. Lastly, I wanted to provide an overview of the Board of Trustees meeting on behalf of Dr. Glaser. Some of you may know that Dr. Glaser is attending an alumni event today, and he looks forward to joining you all for future meetings. But in his absence, I wanted to provide, per his request, a little information about the Board of Trustees, since our Board of Trustees structure is a little different from local school boards, and then give a quick overview of the meeting. So as opposed to being elected in the same way that local school board members are in your home communities, the IMSA Board of Trustees are appointed, and they really are experts in their field. So I'm gonna try to talk and chat at the same time, which is always a bit of a challenge for me. So the link I just popped into the chat is the page that goes to the overview of our Board of Trustees. You can click on the names of our trustees and see their bios, their backgrounds, and also how they were appointed and their years of service on the board. Looking at our board is really charged with looking at the long-term interests for the academy. And you'll see that some of our trustees have actually served for 20 or so years on the Board of Trustees. So we have some knowledge there. I've heard some parents kind of compare our Board of Trustees to more so of a format comparable to what you would see on a college campus. And I think that that's a pretty good comparison, more so than a local school board. The next link I just popped into the chat is for the meeting agendas. And you have to click around a little bit once you go to that URL. It'll take you to a home page. You're going to want to click on meetings at the top if you're not already there. And then it'll likely put you in the wrong year, at least it always does for me. So you're going to have to click on the plus sign for 2021, and it'll drop down for all of the meeting dates. And then you select the correct meeting date. So our most recent meeting was September 15th. So if you click on that and then click on view agenda, you'll be able to see navigate on the left-hand side through the agenda. It takes a little practice, but once you figure it out, it's pretty easy to navigate. The Board of Trustees meeting is really a meeting between the board and the president. And so board members, they read all of the submissions that are in board docs before the meeting begins. So the presentations from all of the invited presenters are really brief, and the meeting is focused on feedback from the board members and questions. It's really not just about updates, it's primarily focused on offering research and soliciting feedback and that visionary work towards the future. So I think there are sometimes questions about more of the day-to-day operations when it comes to the board meetings, and the board meetings are really focused on that, 5-10 years into the future and that visionary work. The meetings are open meetings, so parents and staff may join and observe, and the president and his team are really charged with the day-to-day operations of IMSA. So if you have more questions or feedback about the day-to-day operations, always start with staff, start with Dr. Glaser, and that would be a great way to get more information about kind of what's happening this year and what's happening in the really immediate future, or share feedback about what's working and not working. So hopefully in that rambling, you've had the opportunity to get to the September 15th agenda. When you go into the agenda, and again, you'll navigate, I'm trying to do it on my other screen while we're talking, on the left-hand side, the first thing that you'll see is closed session. And in closed session is really limited to just a few topics. And I'm in the wrong year, go figure. I just said that, and I just did it myself. Closed session is really limited to negotiating matters and employment, performance, and compensation for specific employees. The president, the board's one employee, and only the board and the president are permitted to participate in that section of the board meeting. So we don't really have any updates from there. When we move into the open meeting, which is what you as parents have the opportunity to observe and what I as a staff member have the opportunity to observe, the first thing listed are action items, and those are board business action items that are voted on individually. And September is always an interesting meeting for us because we actually cover 3 fiscal years. And so you'll see 2 of the fiscal years being covered here. The FY23 budget request to the Illinois Board of Higher Education is really Dr. Glaser presenting to the board what we intend to request from IBHE in the spring, when we go down to Springfield and say, please give us money so we can keep the doors open and the lights on to support our students. The next one is approval for our current year's budget. The consent agenda is voted on collectively unless requested for an item to be pulled out and discussed and considered individually by a board member. Policy updates, stipend information usually is in there because it's usually presented for an initial read during the executive committee meeting the month prior. There are typically 2 discussion items that are a short presentation and then discussion and Q&A with the board. So at the September meeting, we looked at equity and admissions, which was presented by Glenn Engelberg, who's our Executive Director of Enrollment Management. And then Jacob Plummer, who is a 96 graduate from IMSA and also the president of the IMSA Fund Board, he presented the Promise campaign, which is an exciting opportunity that is not in necessarily the public phase just yet, but an opportunity to really strategically raise funds to support one of IMSA's primary outreach and really recruitment programs, which is Promise. The report of the president will always provide an update from Dr. Glaser and oftentimes various staff members in writing. And then Dr. Glaser will accompany it with a short verbal set of remarks. The treasurer's report, here's where we get that other fiscal year. It's the final report from last fiscal year, FY21, and then a current year budget report. Liaison reports are provided from faculty, student council, PAC, alumni, and the fund board. Typically in writing, and there's an invitation for short verbal remarks. And then the last piece, the board assessment presentation, is really an overview of the Intercultural Development Inventory, or IDI for short. This is an inventory that all IMSA staff participated in as a part of our equity and excellence work. And the Board of Trustees said, we'd like to do that too. And so we had Dr. Harewood come and present to the Board of Trustees about that. The appendix is just resources and information shared with the board. It is not discussed at the board meeting, and that is available for you as well at the very bottom. The next board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 17th, and again is open for you to come and observe if you'd like to. Again, thanks for including me in your meeting. I feel like I had a lot because I was also charged with covering the board meeting. I'm unable to attend your October meeting due to a personal commitment, so we'll have another member of my team present to share updates and answer questions. And as always, feel free to chat me any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. We had a few questions that came in for the chat, if you don't mind. One parent, specifically to what you're just talking about, asked about how parents can watch those meetings since they're not really at a good time. Are they recorded? Are they, can they listen in later?
I'm not sure that they are recorded or that recordings are made available. Our meetings had always been conducted in person and there was no virtual option. I know that there was a virtual option introduced during COVID. I'm going to have to get more information on that. I don't know. Dr. Aquaj Anderson is on. I'm not sure, Comfort, if you have any insight on that.
Yeah, I think it would be good for us to check.
Yeah, let us check and get back to you. So we'll follow up with the PAC leadership and you all can disseminate that information.
Yeah, Ms. Tracy Ellis, who is the board, secretary, will be able to give us some good information about that. So.
Okay, another parent asked if, again, asking for clarification, if you're going on campus to not just drop stuff off, but spend time outdoors with your student, does the school want parents to check in with security?
Yes, if you're going to be spending time on campus, we do recommend, if you're coming for a meal or anything like that, we do recommend that you check in with security. It helps us know who's on campus, how many people in the event of an emergency, and if our students are hanging out with people, it helps us to have that name badge because our staff knows then that you're permitted to be there. So as a safety protocol, we would ask if you're going to be there for more than just a couple of minutes that you check in with security and you receive that IMSA issued badge.
And the third question that we got was asking about the scheduling for meals that talked about, especially for students that are involved in sports. By the time sport finishes, then they go to take a shower after their practice or game ends, then suddenly the cafeteria is closed. And so is there a solution to that?
What we've done in the past is honestly work with our coaches on that. So the best practice following your practice would be honestly to go eat before you go take a shower and you're just going to be a little stinky at dinner. If that doesn't work because practice is going late, which in the past we've had issues with that, in particular with our swim team, our swim coach has made arrangements with our meal service provider to do something a little different and a little bit later for our student athletes. So if there are particular teams that are struggling with that, then it would be a good conversation for the coach to have with our food service provider. And I'm certainly happy to facilitate that. So if somebody wants to private message me specific situations, I'm happy to follow up on it.
Thank you so much for answering those questions.
You're welcome.
So thank you very much. And just a note to our speakers from Lexington. I just wanted to let you know that our meeting is going a little bit over schedule, but we will be heading to you right after we wrap up this one. Okay, so next we have Dr. Comfort Aquaj Anderson from Principal's Office.
All right, thank you so much, Maria. Greetings, everyone. It's always great to see you all. I'm going to just provide a few important pieces of information, and we'll go from there. So first of all, I cannot thank all of you enough for a successful Parent Day. As you all know, was it 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, last fall, we had some hiccups. And I apologize to you all and told you we were going to work hard on getting better and making sure that things went smoothly. This time, I think we accomplished that goal. So thanks a lot to you all for your support and for helping ensure that it was a great day and experience. I got feedback from you all, and I'm already looking at what you said to inform what we do in the spring. I have not sent the videos out to you. Our tech folks have been swamped with so many different events going on. So they tell me that they'll have the videos ready to go on Monday. So they'll send the links to me and I'll send them your way because we recorded the CAT and SIR sessions. So we'll be sharing that information with you. I'll be sharing that with you on Monday. We also had lots of questions that you had asked, and I put that in a document, and I'm planning on just sharing it back to you all as a Q&A so that people can reference the questions that we asked. Maybe it will come up for someone if we have that document that you can see the responses to that. So I'll attach that in the email that I sent to you with the links to the videos. I also wanted to pass some information on to you regarding Power School. So in Power School, you have the ability to opt in to a variety of email notifications to alert you to information on your student, such as regular updates on your students' grades and things like that. So an email will come from our strategies team soon to remind families of the variety of tools and supports that are available to help all of our students to be successful. One of the things that we are really working on this year is to ensure that we keep you informed of where students are, what they're struggling with, because I have learned from talking with you all that sometimes our students don't share with you when they're struggling. Of course, those are some of the characteristics of gifted and talented students. They have a mindset, a fixed mindset, not in a negative way, but they tend to think that they shouldn't be struggling. And that's something that we're very aware of. And so one of the things that we're doing this year is, in addition to all the things that the students have been doing with Titan Crew and faculty, we have designated one of the times that they meet during the week for two things. One, things that are related to mental health. Katie and I work very closely together on that. And secondly, we started this, using this approach. It's research-based and supported. It's called WIN, which stands for What I Need. So we know that based on test scores or student performance in the classroom, whatever they're doing, we have certain information or surveys that we conduct. We have information about our students and what they need, but I wanted to make sure that we're actually tapping into the student voice. Research actually shows that, especially during the pandemic, that we need to look at and talk with our students about what they need, not what we think they need. So combining those two things, we're making sure that we support them and we understand where they're struggling, and of course make sure that so that you're not surprised, because we have several situations in which because you did not know the students were struggling, their grades were not reflective of how they typically perform. And so we're really working hard to make sure that we intervene or proactively intervene with that. So that's something I wanted to share with you all. Support for our students who are unable to participate in in-person instruction for a variety of reasons, sometimes, for medical reasons or other reasons. We are making sure that, we support them. And so for some of you who maybe have had a student who has had to come home or stay home for a little while, we actually have a nice kit that we send them home with. So if it means that we need to make sure that they have a tablet, like they did when they were learning virtually, we make sure they have that, whatever materials they need so that they can participate from home, actually also including Zooming into their class from home. So that's one of the things that we're doing to make sure that, once again, all of our students are successful. The other thing that I wanted to, again, continue to reinforce is continue to contact the principal's office, either via phone or we have the print off email address, and also locate appropriate contact or departments directly from, if you have questions or concern, from the Student Affairs website. I know that my colleague Katie has talked about that in the past. If you go on the website, you see contact numbers or emails for different departments or different people, depending on what question you have. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and I realized I hadn't really said anything, Kitty and I hadn't said anything about, is the attendance clerk used to be part of Katie's office. This year, we transfer the attendance person to the principal's office. So there's a lot of hiccups still, in regards to procedures for related to procedures for signing students in and out. So continue to, if you contact the principal's office and we don't have an answer, we know that, my colleague Katie and her team would be able to help. So just continue to be patient with us. We're working on this. And then of course, we also have the other part of the equation is if students are asking for permission to be off campus and they have to contact Dr. Glaser, depending on what the situation is. And so sometimes you may feel like we're giving you the runaround. It's not that we're trying to do that. It's just we want to make sure that we have students go through the appropriate procedures so that we don't end up in a situation where we're looking for a student because we didn't communicate. So those were some of the quick things that I wanted to share with you. As always, if you have questions, let me know and I'll do my very best to answer those for you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Comfort. And in the interest of time, if you do have any questions for Dr. Comfort, please feel free to put them in the chat. Or if you want to email it to us at theimsapac@gmail.com, we'll be glad to forward it to her. Or as she mentioned, feel free to reach out to her directly or her team. And that can be found on the website. Next, we have our RCs, which I believe they're not in attendance today, but they did send over some information for us to share. Some of that information is how do I sign out my student? So again, in the interest of time, I'm not going to read this slide, but we will be providing the recording of this meeting along with the slide deck to everyone via email this coming week. So you will have all this information. And also I know Katie Berger had covered some of the information on signing out and along with Dr. Comfort in that procedure. And wonderful 1507's YouTube channel. Some of you who are in the PAC Facebook group have probably seen some of his videos being shared. So Kevin is one of the veteran RCs who has been doing a wonderful job of creating some videos on some of the different procedures. So if you check out 1507's YouTube channel, you'll find out more information there. Wing dinners, they are just talking about some of the different things regarding if you wanted to provide a wing dinner for the wing. So you can always email the RCs, your student's RC, if you want more information on that. And off time, again, just a reminder from the RCs that the RCs are not 24/7. They do have schedules, are entitled to some off days. So depending on their schedule, with the replies, that you can reach out to the RC office for that hall directly, or they will also get back to you then. And ideas for fun programs. If you have any ideas, you can let them know. Okay, and then Yulia is unable to join us today for the college and academic counseling updates. If you click on this link, you will see a lot of information from the CACs there. And if you missed Yulia on Parent Day, you can review this link and it will answer a lot of the questions that you have for the CACs. Okay, next we have Brittany Walker.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me all right. As Katie mentioned, I am multitasking and trying to be in 3 places at once, literally. So I'm driving. If there's any questions in the chat, please feel free to email me. My email is at bwalker1@imsa.edu. I'll cover some things, but there's probably going to be questions, so I just wanted to preface that. I do want to say thank you to all of the parents that have been super helpful in getting, thanks Katie, I see that coming through, super helpful in kind of getting some of this information out and encouraging your students to participate. If we can go to the next slide, I'll talk about some of the events that are taking place. I also wanted to mention that our weekend fun at Imsa has continued and students have been doing great. But we have been asking for a lot of pre-registrations for events. And if these events don't get the pre-registrations that we need in order to, accommodate staff coming in, they will get canceled. So again, we're offering these things, and I completely understand if students just want to hang out and, you know, do their own thing. But we're just wanting to make sure that these events that we're having are accessible to everyone. And if we can have the staff available to those things, then we'll continue to have them. Some big things that are happening this weekend are coming up right away. Today, we have an amazing Latinx Heritage Month, a festival that's going to take place. There's going to be a free taco truck that's going to be here. We'll have some performances. There's the Ballet Folklorico will be performing 3 different states. So if you're familiar, they do, you know, cultural dances of a particular area. And so we'll do 3 different states will be represented today. That event is going to be between 1 and 3 underneath the tent. If you happen to be on campus visiting your student, again, that's one of those where we just ask that you check in with security, but you know, families are welcome to come see and participate in the festival. Directly following that, there will be a showing of the film Coco, which is only open to students, and that'll be inside of our auditorium. This program is a collaboration with our Alma Latina group, as well as our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Student Affairs office. So there's amazing things that are going to take place just today. We're wrapping up Mental Health Initiatives Week. So, you know, we kicked off with our assembly. There's been several events and activities throughout the week, including some hands-on things. So we had aromatherapy for students. They were able to make their own personal, I guess, oil, you know, aromatherapy oils that they can put on pressure points that will help them, and just some soothing measurements, or just if they need mind clarity. There's a very different oils that they were able to use to make their own special mix and elixir. Some students get really creative and seriously use a lot of science behind things to come up with the best oil. That's, you know, an Imsa student, of course, but they did some really amazing things. With that, we also had Build-A-Bear come in, or so we provided Build-A-Bear. So your students will come home with their emotional stuffed animals, as opposed to an emotional support animal. And they were able to stuff them, fill them with a heart with love, and create a birth certificate. They absolutely loved that event. So we are probably going to have to do it again because we ran out of space. We had, I think, 190 students sign up for that. So we're going to make sure that we do it again, just because it was so successful. And the students just, I mean, who doesn't want to create their own furry friend, right? In addition to that, with furry friends, we had 3 consecutive days of therapy dogs, which was my favorite events this week. So we had furry friends Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, about 5 teams. So a dog and a handler every day, and students had 15 minutes and 15-minute rotations to spend time with all of the dogs, and they loved it. You probably got pictures with new furry friends. My favorite, I don't know, I can't tell you who my favorite was, but the students absolutely loved it. So we're ending MHI week today from 3:30 until 5 p.m. I sent a link, or I think I posted it on the PAC page, and the students also received it, as well as staff. We're going to be doing a virtual yoga event with health and wellness expert Gole Gabe out of Southern California. She's going to be live with us from California, so I'm hoping she sends those nice warm vibes. She'll talk about mindfulness. Students were encouraged to bring a pillow, or whoever participates. So I think there might be some restful moments. And then we're going to finish off with a little light yoga. So again, parents are absolutely welcome to join us with that event. I'm excited to be there, and it's going to be a really fun way to end MHI week. Another thing that I wanted to point out.
Brittany?
Yeah.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt you. It's Maria. I'm sorry, we're running long on time, so I was wondering if you could provide just a couple short updates, because we have a couple more.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Major event tomorrow will be live band karaoke, and then for the remainder of the week, we have homecoming week. So wanted to make sure that students know about that. All of the details were sent in an email. I'll make sure that a link gets posted on the PAC page with everything that's happening in the agenda. But the major thing is that our assembly is Friday outside on the soccer field. We rented bleachers, and on Saturday we will have our dance. and that dance will take place underneath the big tent. They're going to have an amazing time.
Thank you so much, Brittany, for all these updates and for everything that you're doing for our kids on campus. We really do appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, student council, and I apologize, student council, I'm going to ask if you can keep it brief as well.
Yeah, of course. Hello and good morning, parents. My name is Pranav Manoj. Sabrina Zhang was unable to make it today. I believe she's at a doctor's appointment, but I'd like to give you guys a few brief updates on what Student Council has been doing in the last few months here at IMSA. I've thoroughly enjoyed representing the student voice here at PAC meetings, and I sincerely appreciate all of your enthusiasm and willingness to pursue those collaborative events between students and parents that are so impactful here on campus. I hope everyone is enjoying a safe weekend, and I'd like to start by presenting a few very brief, very notable updates with regard to Student Council's activity. Most importantly, I think Mrs. Walker touched on this, but we've just concluded an amazing mental health initiative week, which is actually an annual week that happens every year. And we'd like to expand it a little bit and have those monthly events as well, kind of enunciating the significant role of mental health here on campus. So with the assistance of Ms. Walker, I had the privilege and opportunity to head, implement, and organize MHI Week this year. And students have loved those events, including essential oil aromatherapy, Build-A-Bear, Helping Hands photo shoots, which ISP, or our media organization here on campus, helped us do, as well as therapy dogs. We've really strived to prioritize those informative, educational, and interactive measures, and really enunciating that important mental health in a very rigorous academic environment is very important. So we'd like to keep doing what we do, and making sure that those resources and those counseling resources are available to students every month of the year. In addition, sophomore at-large elections are currently underway, and we have a number of exceptionally strong candidates applying for the position. And today or tomorrow, actually, I believe this is the next stage of our simulation process. We're really looking forward to welcoming the newest representatives of the student body. I'm excited to get to know them. In addition, we've recognized that some communication issues exist and often prevent students from getting really involved in the clubs they'd like to at IMSA. And in order to alleviate those given issues, IMSA in the coming academic year, especially in the second semester and into 2022, in really standardized fashion, will begin to implement a new organizational software called Presence.io to provide a more centralized location for IMSA students, administrators, and faculty to conduct those student-led club life or interest activities that really contribute to and develop our club culture. In addition, if your student hasn't already downloaded Facebook, the IMSA Virtual Campus Facebook page is the key center for all communication-based or related issues here on campus. And we highly recommend that all sophomore students and junior students download Facebook and join the IMSA Virtual Campus and IMSA Student Council Facebook pages, as that's where a lot of our information comes from. I think that should conclude my set of updates for all of you. And I definitely welcome any and all questions with regard to student residential life, academic life, or student council in general. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those updates. We really do appreciate it. And next we have Gerardo from CAP. Are you on the call? Okay. So our next PAC meeting date is on Saturday, October 23rd. As of right now, we do have the Into space reserved for that meeting. But as always, we will be keeping an eye on how things are at that point in time, and we will definitely let you know if it will be the hybrid of in-person and Zoom, or if it will be a Zoom meeting. So stay tuned for that. Okay, and next, if you scan the QR code, you'll get the Imsa calendar there. Katie touched on the Board of Trustees meetings, and so you've got that information as well. If you'd like to contact us, our email is imsapac@gmail.com. You can also visit the website, which has the lengthier list of our team and the individual email addresses there. And this video, along with other recordings, are available on our YouTube channel. So thank you everyone for staying on. And again, we'd like to welcome our speakers. Oh, Amazon Smile, if you are using Amazon, please use this link and then IMSA fund will get some of that support. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we will be sharing the slide deck with you so you have all this information. Next, I would like to introduce Sophia Quirk and Donato Gita from Lexington Food Service. And thank you to both of you for being patient with us, and we welcome you. So feel free to.
Thank you so much. So first I want to apologize. You're going to hear some background noise. I am in a side room in the kitchen, so you may hear pops, and that's the juice and soda machine. So I am muted. How about that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So thank you for having us. We really do appreciate being part of the IMSA community. What I was saying before is I apologize for the background noise you may hear. I'm actually in a side room in the kitchen, so you may hear the soda and juice machine in the background popping because we are in our brunch service. In respect to everybody's time, I will move a lot faster and try to at least get the 30,000 feet description of who we are and how we're trying to take care of the community here at IMSA. So first of all, you know us as Lexington on campus. Our parent company is Elior, or Elior North America. It's important to know that because we are the 5th largest contract food service company in the United States. Aladdin is our college campuses. I have 12 Aladdin campuses that I am in charge of because I'm the district manager. It's important to know because of the challenges that we may be having in the United States with labor. We've been pulling people from all over the country just to support the campus here to make sure that we're meeting all those needs of the students. So Elior as a whole, we have 20,000 employees, 1,500 locations here in the United States. We are a food-focused, food-based company. In every possibility that we can, we make everything in-house and try to give it to our students and communities. It's also important to, if I could introduce to you guys the team on campus. So Sophia, who's on this call, is the food service director. She's been working with our company for 5 years. She previously was managing a college campus for me in Oakton. The executive chef on campus, Dimitri, was a owner of a restaurant. The unfortunate of COVID has changed a lot of restaurants in the world. So he's left his ownership and come to us, but he's got a lot of experience. And we have 2 supervisors as well that lead the team here. Your students see them every day. We are always on the floor. Any questions, needs, wants, we are always there for them. It's also important that the students and the parents know who we are, because if there's dietary restrictions, dietary needs of any kind, we're your contact. And Sophia in a little bit will talk a little bit more of what the easiest path to find out how to get to us. She'll also describe the websites and navigate through our menus if they have any kind of dietary restrictions or wants or needs. I'm kind of rushing through this. I want to respect people's time. So we've been on this campus with them for this semester, and we admit the first couple of weeks we were on campus, we had some more bumps in the road that I'd like to admit. But I take ownership in that because it's my team on this campus. We were able to hear the community loud and clear and able to change some of the menuing to focus more on a not traditional high school menu, where vegan, vegetarian, healthy options, which I know I've heard from a large part of the parents since we changed. And thank you for all the nice comments. I'm happy that we're able to meet your needs now. But we will still face some challenges going forward. And then it's kind of the environment that we're in. And so I'm telling you this because I want to be openly communicating, and I want you to help us play a part in the solution. Some of those challenges are the labor around the country is definitely a challenge. We do everything we can not to let the students or the community here see it. But where those challenges come in is the food companies that we get our food from don't always deliver food because they don't have enough bodies, or they come days later. So we know that those challenges are here. As of yet, that hasn't altered what we're serving, but in the future, as we put the menus up 4 weeks in advance, you see them, you may see things fall off, be changed, be added. That'll be the biggest challenge this community will see, but we want to be open about that. As far as staffing, you're part of this community. You know people in this area. If you know people that want to work part-time, serve the students here, even as parents, if you want to come for a few hours during lunch, we'd love to hear from you. We are slowly becoming full staffed, but nothing greater than having this community here help serve the students. And then the message of food responsibility, which I really need this group's help on. These are students that for the first time, I mean, they're living on campus. They have a choice for an all-you-care-to-eat venue. We ask that the message goes out, and we try to communicate with the students as well. Take what you can eat. We are definitely seeing 3-4 full plates going away, and then they eat half of a plate and then throw the less, the 3 plates away. They can have as much as they want as they can consume it, but just be in that responsibility to be conscious of food waste. The same with food going out of the dining facilities, as much as they want, but what we don't want them to do is take food out and then they eat it later and then they get sick or something happens. So we really want to be conscious of the food staying in the facility and not throwing food out in waste. I want to pass it along to Sophia because, again, I'm watching the time for everybody, so she can kind of describe our website, how you contact us, and how you can navigate through our menus.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, my name is Sophia Quirk, and I am, as Donato said, the food service director. I am having a few issues with the video, so please forgive me for that, but I will walk you on how to view our menus. The easiest way I find is just go straight to the Illinois Math and Science website. Once you get on there, you can go to the home page. Under Student Life, you can just go to Student Life, and over to the right, you'll see a link to food services. Okay, once you get on the food service links, it should bring you to another website where you can view the menu. The nice thing about viewing the menu is that your student can take the opportunity to prepare or make notes on what he's able to eat for the day. And there's also an allergen filter on the left-hand side where your student can actually click on there just to kind of like go over some of the nutritional values that they have. There are ingredients that they would have on the menus. For instance, if your student is a vegetarian, you can filter on the vegetarian part. And what will happen is just the very vegetarian options for today will populate. So that way that helps him or her plan what their meals are for today. Just like Donato had mentioned, there will be times when we are either out of food for a variety of reasons, such as our vendors did not deliver for today, or they may be out of the particular items, and there will be those instances where we will have to make changes to the menu for today. But if that does happen, please have your student come find myself or the chef, and we would be happy to walk your student through a different option if they need for the day. I do realize that we are very short on time, but if anyone does have a question, I'd be happy to answer it for them.
Thanks, Sophia. As far as the website is concerned, it does make it easier. Let's say if I have a dairy allergy, I can click on there. Anything that has dairy in it will not be an option for them any longer, so they can kind of plan ahead. Any student can also come up to any of the food service workers or managers, and if they identify, hey, I've got this allergy, we'll make anything for them that's not in the menu. Our job is to do everything we can to make sure that they're meeting their their food needs. Now, everybody has a different idea of, I want to see, this kind of food or that kind of food. We are feeding 650 people at once. We try to change it up as much as possible. And what we're trying to do is also, we try to generalize because we want as much people to participate as possible as well. Let's say it's a certain segment of food that, I have 3 or 4 students say, hey, we should try it. That might not meet the needs of 630 or 40 other students. So we try to make it as versatile as possible. We always have 5 or 6 different options. We always make sure that we have 2 or 3 vegan and vegetarian options as well, and they change daily. We are doing our best not to serve the same thing over and over again. However, understand that there is a certain age level where we will have pizza twice a week. We try to have, it's hard if you ever take away hamburgers. We don't serve it every meal, but you want to have burgers, on a regular basis. We do veggie burgers. We do black bean burgers. We try to rotate it, but again, those are one of those things that students want to see on a regular basis as a staple. With that, and with the understanding of time, if you can go through some of the next slides where I can kind of show how we've changed some of this. Our menu is focused based on, we are in the COVID world. So we are doing some prepackaged sandwiches that we're making right before the service. And we are serving a lot of the foods that would be self-serve on a regular basis. So we've done things for safety reasons. Obviously the gloves and the masks are a staple of what our company does. This slide here just kind of talks about how we are a food-focused company. And with the, we use local foods. We try to get, everything we can from within a 250-mile radius. There's still some things, obviously, we're not getting in January, and that bananas and things like that from this area. But as much as we can get local, we can. Next slide, please. You're welcome to go to this link. It'll show us like a short video. When you click on it, when this gets sent out to you, that'll describe kind of who Lexington is. Next slide. You don't have to click on that, okay. What's important here is I wanted to kind of share, this is actually the service that we're providing. It is fresh fruit, not frozen. This is just a service from last week that we took pictures from. We really have chefs. These aren't just cooks in the background. Next slide, please. Yeah. I took a picture of one of the screens that, just because we've heard you loud and clear, we have a screen that we've now dedicated. It was originally going to be marketing, but just to show the vegan vegetarian options that we have for every meal period. And so the computer system, it's called Star Chef that we have. We dedicated it to send to this screen itself, all the vegan vegetarian. Understand it is going to send things like green peas and the vegetables automatically to it. We know that's not a meal, but we always try to have proteins and beans and different things to help sustain the students that are vegan and vegetarian. Next slide, please. I think this next one's the last one. So for dietary restrictions, we have this banner up. It's also on our website, but if somebody has any kind of allergies, it'll be identified on our screens. But the students, if they have any concerns, can still ask us questions. We make things in the house. We follow our recipes to a T. So they should have peace of mind with that. But we are, making fresh salads, fresh fruit. The reason it was important to show the bottom left with the condiment station, like those ketchup pumps, things like that, they're motion detectors. So they don't actually have to make contact with them. It's part of the some of the good things that have actually come out of COVID, some of the innovative things. And then, our desserts, we have, real pies, cheesecakes, cookies. We just ask the students not to take 10 or 12 at a time. But with that being said, if there's any questions that I can answer for you, I know it's past the 11:30 mark, but I tried to rush through that so I could be respectful of everybody's time. So we appreciate you having us on this parents call.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you being on this call and allowing us to start your portion a little bit later. So with that, I do ask if anybody has questions to feel free to unmute and you can ask them directly.
Yes.
I'll jump in if that's okay. Thank you so much for the improvements that you've made. My son has expressed a lot of appreciation. He mentioned the dried cranberry and nut salad with spinach a few days ago that he really appreciated, and the other salads that you're offering. He mentioned cherry tomatoes on the salads. All those things I think are really nice touches. One thing that was frustrating to him, and I did put this in the chat as well, was sometimes foods that are on the menu that he anticipates being able to get then are not available. He mentioned a portobello onion and provolone sandwich that he was excited about. He went to the hamburger station and then it wasn't available. So I'm just wondering, might it be possible to just update the menus just to manage students' expectations before they get to the cafeteria?
Absolutely,
Yes.
and thank you for that. And that is actually, there's an example of exactly what happened as far as not being able to get that portable mushroom. When we do change the menu, and that's on us, when we change it, it does take about an hour and a half to change on the website. And they should before lunch. We usually know within 3-4 hours that that product isn't coming in, because especially with produce, we try to get it within 12 to 24 hours of service for obvious reasons. And then we'll change the website note when we know we're going to have to substitute. That is a real challenge, and they shouldn't be disappointed by the time they come in. Now, if they're checking the day before, that's going to happen more often than until this world kind of gets back on track. But if they're checking just before service and that happens, I take full responsibility for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. I do see a lot of comments about Indian food and things like that. We will certainly try to introduce some Indian cuisines as well. We do have authentic chefs that will be able to, we're never going to be mom and dad's food, whether they're good chefs or not. They could be the worst cook in the world, and I know it's not mom's food. I'm a first-generation Sicilian, and I know how that is. But
they always appreciate restaurant food more than the home food anyway. Right, so yeah. if you get the Indian food, they will love it.
Okay, yeah, and I know, and that was, we knew generally the population here, and then we came in and kind of the first 2 weeks, and again, I'm the district manager, so I take full responsibility. We came with this general high school menu, and then we realized this population is about 20% Indian, and we were serving pork chops and things like that. And we're like, oh my. So that's why I said we were able to pretty quickly go, our bad. And really good. But so we will look to introduce some Indian cuisines, and feel free, like at the beginning of this slide, this presentation, you saw my business card. Send me ideas. Sure. Now again, I'm not going to be mom and dad's cooking, but we have a massive recipe index that we can pull from. So that is really my email. Actually, my cell phone on there. In an emergency, please feel free to text or call me. As I say, in an emergency.
Yeah, definitely. If you can display the card again, because I wasn't there. My wife was participating.
No worries. It's on the screen now. But my understanding is they're going to send this presentation out as well, and my business card will be on there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
For sure.
I really appreciate how you started, taking care of the issues suggested. I mean, it's coming slowly, but I think, you guys are really committed to this. So I think I'm really excited that, eventually they'll see the Indian food and everything.
No, I appreciate that. And I'm not trying to act like we're all naive. I mean, we're still going to hit bumps. And when you hear something, your student will tell you something before they'll tell us.
Yeah.
That's when you go to our comments page or send me an email.
Right.
And I'm not gonna, like, I've been on campus now for 6 weeks. I won't traditionally be on campus this much, hopefully. As soon as you send me an email, I can go right to the unit managers and make some quick changes. So feel free that I am a resource for you, and we truly will do everything in our power. I mean, if you go to a student and say, hey, what do you want to see? And they'll be like, give me steak. That's not gonna happen. But we can do things. I shouldn't say that. We have served steak twice this year. But we do everything we can to accommodate them, because we're their constant. It is hard. they have a lot of pressure at their age, and we're their distraction. We're the fun that they have. We're the relaxation, and it's kind of a good gig to have, you know. So we really try to focus on, you know, too often you say, you know, they're vegetarian or vegan, and they go, well, we have a salad bar. That's terrible to say to a human being. We offer many selections that can, you know, make them feel like they're home, fuel their mind and body.
Hi, I have a question.
Do it.
So I know beginning of the school year, we had mentioned to the head of the school about halal food, that you were gonna, you know, make some arrangement with maybe halal butchers to provide halal options for kids, because there's
Yes.
handful of Muslim kids that go to your school. And I was wondering, when are you gonna start the halal food? Because they're
Our
really
halal-
craving for meat and chicken and, you know, but it's gotta be halal. So if you could,
Correct.
yeah.
We have already started serving halal. We have halal chicken available.
When?
So
When did you start? Because
last
every day
week,
you say,
so we investigated it. I think it was a week or two ago. We got the email.
Yep.
We reached out to our vendors, and then we found out that our the chicken that we're serving, the chicken breast that we're serving, is already certified halal. Now the chicken breast, there's other things that we have that aren't. So for students that are looking for halal and it's not on the menu, we have it available. All they have to do is reach out to us. Worst case scenario, if they tell us on the spot and they walk in and say, hey, I'm looking for halal chicken, they're gonna wait 8 to 10 minutes for it, because obviously we're gonna have to cook it for them. If they give us an advance notice, we can have it ready for them for the service. Obviously we don't have hundreds of students each meal looking for halal, but we'll always have it available. I'm working to find a local butcher where we can have some hamburger available. And what we'll do is we'll portion it out, and upon request, we can do that as well. Because to serve everything that's halal, it's just respectfully a very different cost factor. But for those students that need it, we will have it.
and another question is, I know the dinner is served at about 5 o'clock. The kids are studying till 11, 12, so they get hungry by 8 or 9 o'clock. Is there like, do you guys provide some kind of snacks for them or something like that?
We do not.
That'd be a good.
We do not. We stop our service at 7:15, 7 days a week, and I'm sure there's some side conversations we could have with the school. It's just it's not what we're doing right now.
I can jump in. So IMSA as an institution provides 3 meals a day, Monday through Friday, and 2 meals per day on the weekend, brunch and dinner. And so that is the meal plan that is provided to your child. And for some students, that is sufficient and more than enough. And for some students, they have found that it's helpful for them to have snacks and other things that they purchase from vending machines, that they order groceries, that they participate in the Woodman's and Target runs. But to be clear, our meal plan that we provide is 3 meals a day, Monday through Friday, and then the 2 meals on the weekends.
One other question my wife brought up, you know, if when you're serving tacos and pizza and stuff like that, if you could add more vegetarian things in there, like taco, you know, vegetarian taco, and if you have a pizza, add more vegetarian toppings. I think that would be also great.
Fair enough.
We will definitely.
So what, I'm sorry, but from my understanding, so if they need lunch and dinner halal, they have to reach out to you every day, or?
Well, yeah. So I mean, to have the meats available, I would wish that they would just kind of give us a heads up. Like if they're looking for chicken and beef for a meal period, I don't want to put out, say, 10 or 15 pieces of, you know, halal chicken, and then someone doesn't come for it, and then we have that waste, because it's not going to be a substitute for all of the meats to be turned to halal. So it does seem, I want to have it available for them, and it is. It does seem somewhat inconvenient that they'll have to reach out to us, or when they come in, they'll have to ask for it, and then there is going to be an 8 to 10 minute wait.
So he has to email ahead of time every day, right? To the chef?
If he's regularly going to come in lunch and dinner wanting chicken or hamburger every day, then once we meet with him once, we could set up a pattern.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things where I don't want to waste. I want to, you know, so I mean, if your student is looking for something that we don't have, and there's, you know, wants to sit down and have a conversation with myself, Sophia, or the chef, we can sit down and work with them and find out their likes and dislikes. And it's the same with dietary restrictions. If someone says I'm gluten-free, oh, we have these options. They may not like those options. They're an individual. We always say, you should come and just spend some time with us. Give us 10 minutes of your time, talk to us, because we can try to personalize some of the stuff that we're doing. Because again, we're trying to do the masses, but they're individuals. So, okay, they're vegan or vegetarian, and today we made this tofu. I hate tofu. Okay, well, what can we do? And so we want, if they're feeling like their needs are met or they have different patterns, a few minutes with us, we learn the student and we can, you know, do our best to meet the needs.
So we emailed you, right? That's what.
Or you can actually, you can email myself, sophia.work@aladdinfood.com. And I will always be available to meet with a student, with your student. I have met with many students, and I have actually developed a sort of like an open door policy with the students. They come to see me, they can usually find me. Thank you. They can usually find me on the floor. I'm always in the cafeteria and always willing to speak to the student if they have any special needs or concerns even. I'm always happy to address them. And the parent as well, if somebody wanted to reach out and chat with me, you know, just for any reason whatsoever in regards to the food service, feel free to at any time.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you so
Sophia
much.
She'll be more the boots on the ground, just because, I mean, I'm still always available. With the reality of I run food service in multiple states. I'm not always on campus. So things that are happening directly on the campus, I'd say the students looking for something for lunch. Sophia will be your direct contact.
Yeah, but you said you're okay.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm still here, but if someone says, hey, can I, my son's looking for this kind of chicken for lunch.
Oh, I see.
Sophia, you know, Sophia will kind of be like that quicker response. I'll see it and I'll forward it to her or give her a call. Now, if there's a challenge, by all means, email me, call me, text me, or if there's just even, hey, just wanted to have a conversation, trust me, I'd like to get the thanks to emails. But I'm available, but just that boots on the ground kind of person will definitely be Sophia.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Hi, this is Shelly. I have a slightly different question. So
Sure.
How do I ensure that my son is eating eating enough vegetables? Because every time I talk to him, he's like, oh, I ate this. But how is he getting a balanced diet? And the one thing he says he doesn't miss about home is having to eat vegetables. So.
Well, I mean, they will learn their own patterns that kind of fall back the way they were, you know, I'm sure the way they were raised. I'm not going to police them as far as what they take. I will assure you that there's vegetables and an abundance of vegetables, always 2 different vegetables every meal period. And that's not including salads and the fresh fruit that we do have out there for almost every service. We always have fruit available, but that's really on them to make those decisions. As far as I'm concerned, I can't tell you that I can guarantee anything on as far as that's concerned. I have seen our students come up and go, can I get a plate of fries? Sure.
I understand. Thank you.
I will say for a person that's been doing this for 30 years, and especially high schools and even mostly college campuses, these students eat way better than I would ever think a high school student would, and make very conscious decisions. You still, which is why I put that cry for help out there, still have some of those that'll, try to grab a full sleeve of cookies and, whatever. And, that's part of coming of age too, but for the most part, they make pretty strong decisions.
Thank you for that. And I just wanted to give it just a couple more minutes if anybody has questions for either Donato or Sophia.
If I could just kind of give a quick closing remark too, I mean, I sincerely mean this because I'm a parent that just sent my youngest son to college. I understand the feeling of, trusting somebody else, and hoping your child's making the right decisions. We truly are doing everything we can to be that oversighting parent while letting them kind of come of age and making sure we're meeting their needs. We are going to fall short on just the small things for each individual person. Hey, I really want to see this. I really want to see this. We are trying to do everything we can to meet the needs of the group as a whole and the community as a whole. Your feedback is helpful, but especially this group here on campus and myself, I can only give you my most sincerest of we're doing everything we can to meet everybody's needs. Use us as a resource, be part of our partners, talk to your students and the community of how they can be part of the solution of social responsibility as far as waste and things like that. And again, if you know people that want to serve part-time or be part of this community, reach out to me, and I'd love to have you on my staff.
Donato, sorry, I got an email. I got a private message from a parent who couldn't get their Zoom to work, and was wondering, you're working as the bumps right now, but the long term, would you think about perhaps doing like specialty programs, like perhaps, since it is a very diverse school, doing like a multicultural series of kind of things over time, and look at other kind of things that you can do?
Yeah, so part of our traditional marketing is we have an action station now. There's a lot of touch in that, so we are definitely still running under a COVID world, but we a lot of our K-12 and colleges, we do our marketing in advance, and we do cultural themes. Obviously, this is National Hispanic Month, and we will do things that way, and you'll see our menus change that way. But knowing your community, we definitely try to focus on our limited time offers and our specials on the community at large. So absolutely, you will see that. We see, as far as working through the bumps, it's still the reality. We're in a COVID world, and we're trying to make as much normalcy as possible. I would love to see an actual salad bar, and we'd like to do smoothie bars and do all that kind of stuff. We're slowly introducing it while trying to make sure that we're being responsible and safe and following all CDC guidelines. The obscure world we're in with labor and that, as much as I will never ever use that as an excuse, because that's on us. We need to figure it out. It's just the reality of the world out there, and everybody's kind of dealing with it. So we're kind of that new contractor where we're learning the community. I think we've made some pretty quick changes. We'll continue to make changes. We want to hear your voice, but we'll be your students constant, and do everything we can to meet their needs. And you have my word on that.
So earlier, I think there was a question in the chat. Can the students volunteer at the cafeteria and earn service hours?
I can't necessarily answer for that, but I do know I have communicated with somebody from the university, knowing that they have to have, correct me if I'm wrong, 200 hours before they graduate of community service. And we're trying to see how we can work that through, where they could do it with us as well. But I'm sure there's somebody on the call that can answer that question better than I.
I can answer the question. The answer is yes. Our students have the opportunity to volunteer. We need to be thoughtful in what they're doing when they volunteer. And that is a conversation that Donato and Sophia and I have had about what are the opportunities that we have for our students to volunteer. And I know that Andrea had some initial ideas and conversations that we've talked to student council about their willingness to help us facilitate that process. And it's something that I anticipate us getting up and running maybe after October extended. But it is somewhat on pause right now just due to the staffing transition with Andrea transitioning out.
Thank you, Katie.
She's overseeing, yep.
Okay. So again, thank you so much, Donato and Sophia, for joining us today, and really for the wealth of information you've shared with all of us. And again, your willingness to work with students and families regarding their food questions and opportunities. So again, hopefully everybody can see this screen with Donato's email address, and in the chat we've put Sophia's as well. And we will be sharing this recording, which includes these slides, along with the slide deck, which includes these slides as well, in the coming week. So you will have that information. But as I pointed out, you can also go on the IMSA website to the part that has the information about the food service, and there's also their information there and a feedback form. So I know we're.
Thank you very much for answering questions and assurances that you will work with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We're honored to be part of the community.
Yes, thank you very much. And so with that, I just wanted to thank everyone again for attending this month's meeting. And thank you so much to the contributors as well for giving us updates in your areas and allowing us to ask questions. So again, hopefully all of you will join us again next month in October, and be on the lookout for the email that will tell you how that meeting will be presented for them. So I hope all of you enjoy.